Chapter 20. Moose Hunting on Stain River. I was invited out on the land for a moose hunt with a crew of about 8 hunters. We left the reserve in 2 heavily loaded aluminum boats, their outboard motors droning as we cut through the dark, tea-stained waters of Stain River. The cool autumn afternoon bathed the landscape in a golden light. The setting sun forced us to squint against its slanting rays as we wound our way upstream. The boats carried extra jerry cans of gas along with high-powered rifles. I brought my father's vintage .303 Enfield, the same rifle that he carried as a soldier in the Canadian infantry during the Second World War. The silvery hulls of the boats sliced through the marshland, where reeds and grasses swayed in the wind. The river, once broad, began to narrow, closing us in with dense boreal forest on either side. Eventually, the waterway dwindled into a wetland, forcing us to pull ashore. The sun had nearly disappeared by the time we landed, and the crisp air signaled the coming of night. Though twilight still lingered, the first constellations emerged above, ushering in a moonless sky. We disembarked quickly, tying the boats loosely to overhanging tree branches. The hunting party immediately began gathering firewood in complete silence. I was instructed to keep my voice low. Moose, I was told, had exceptional hearing. Then came a surprise. I was relieved to learn that my role was simply to stay behind and tend a small campfire. I was less relieved, however, when they casually added that I should listen carefully for the rattling of antlers against tree branches. "Moose are often drawn to campfires," one of them whispered. "Sometimes they try to stomp them out." Then came the final instruction. "If this happens, shoot the moose." I did my best to mask my absolute horror and replied in a hushed, casual tone, "Ain't no problem. If a moose comes near me, we'll be feasting." As the hunting party disappeared into the bush, I was left alone, sitting against a rock, using it as a backrest. The last traces of light faded, leaving me with only a faint flicker of my fire. The sweet scent of alder smoke filled the air, but beyond that there was nothing. No crickets, no wind, just absolute and rare stillness. Time passed. To my relief, I never heard the sound of antlers rattling in the trees. Sometime later, the hunting party returned, empty-handed. I spent much of my solitude wondering how, had the hunt been successful, were we supposed to transport Canada's largest land animal back to the reserve. That question would remain unanswered. However, a new concern arose. How were we expected to navigate back in pitch darkness, down a river littered with deadheads and hidden hazards? We broke the silence, pushed off, and roared into the night. The outboards echoed through the forest as we wove through the tight, twisting channels of the river. Then, just as we cleared the dense tree cover, I saw it, light. A vast, shimmering curtain of northern lights had unfurled directly overhead, stretching across the star-speckled northern horizon. The sky pulsed with shifting bands of green, white, and violet, illuminating the river just enough for us to see its treacherous bends. With the aurora as our guide, we navigated the serpentine waterway at full throttle, twisting and banking through the marsh. We made it back just in time for a full night's sleep before morning classes.